Hello guys, Gene here with G Squared Tactical. Yes, we got another revolver on the channel. Seems like as of late, last several months I guess, revolvers has been high on the list of guns that people have purchased. I personally in the past, I never really have had a revolver fetish necessarily, unless of course it was big bore revolvers like 460s, 454s, 44 Magnum. You know, larger, 7, 8, 9, 10-inch barrel revolvers, which a lot of people don't do great in the review world because they're not necessarily practical. They're more so for show, I guess, and also for some hunting purposes. But this, it doesn't get much more practical than this when it comes to a revolver. I have had, hammerless or enclosed hammer. They say hammerless, it's really not hammerless. It actually does have a hammer, it's just enclosed, it's completely enclosed, it's not shrouded. There is a difference. In a shrouded, the hammer is slightly exposed. You could still potentially pull the hammer back and shoot it from a single action, whereas with the enclosed hammer, it's a double action only, which in my opinion, the shrouded hammer is kind of, to me it doesn't make much sense. The trash and things get down in there, and also, I either want a hammer that I can get a good, nice, full purchase on it, or I don't want a hammer at all. I don't really want an in-between, so to speak. So, and I've never really been a fan of the enclosed hammer revolvers because I do like to pull the hammer back. Now, I do understand the argument of it getting snagged on, purses, pockets, things of that nature, but I've always been able to successfully carry a revolver with a hammer without that snagging issue. But I suppose some can't. But anyway, this is the Airweight, again, Smith & Wesson 642. It is called an Airweight, and when you hold it, you will know why. When I handed it to my wife, the first thing she said was that it felt like a toy. A piece of paper I added. It is very, very light, coming in at about 4 ounces, about an overall length of 6.3 inches. So it's very small. It will fit in your pocket very nicely, with or without a holster. I've carried it both ways. It fits very nicely. This particular one is silver. I guess maybe if you were going to put it in your pocket or holster it a lot, maybe you would want to get a different color because it will wear. This particular finish, because I've had this finish in a revolver in the past, and it did get worn going in and out of a holster or a pocket every day. So, but this particular one, you can get a grip. I think maybe Laser Max, I'm sorry, not a grip, but this a laser to go on the front here underneath the barrel and against the frame of the gun here. But they make a set of grips, Crimson Trace does, that it comes down to about right here, gives you a little bit better purchase, and it's a front activation laser. I've seen those. It's usually better to buy those aftermarket and install them yourself. It seems they're a little more pricey if you buy it with it already on there. But again, this just adds to the weight, and it also adds to the inability to stuff it in your pocket or something of that nature. The 642 is actually a modern version of the Model 42 Sentinel that Smith & Wesson had famously made, I suppose. Again, the enclosed hammer. It's not hammerless. People say that, but it's more of an enclosed hammer. Comes with this little tool. On the ones with the hammer, like on the Taurus and stuff, you can lock the hammer where it can't come back. This particular one, you can lock the trigger. So this is a trigger lock safety, which is very nice to have if you have children around or something like that, and you're afraid maybe they might get their hands on it or get in your wife's purse or something. It's very nice to have this when you're storing it as well, that someone can't get their hands on it and accidentally pull the trigger. So the cylinder and crane are also stainless steel for added durability. It's a measly 1 7/8 inch barrel, so just shy of a 2-inch barrel. Definitely the snub-nosed revolver that you've heard about or heard talk about. Again, it is stainless steel, so is the cylinder and the crane. That adds durability. The frame itself is aluminum alloy, and that's where your extremely lightweight comes in. And grips on this particular model anyway are a two-part synthetic rubber. I mean, they feel like a rubber, but I'd say like a synthetic rubber two-part instead of the sleeve a lot of times that you see on some revolvers where you don't see the back strap here. It's not exposed. This is a two-part. As far as shooting, of course, reliability is there, but we don't have a video of me shooting this. This is one of them scenarios where I purchased it in the store, walked over to the range and shot it a few times just for the heck of it, because I've never owned this particular model, or the closest thing I've had to it is a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, but it's got a little longer grip on it and a little easier to hold. But all I'll say is that if you're not a fan of recoil, you will not be a fan of this. This will shoot plus P ammunition. You know, again, just adds to the recoil. You know, I guess one good thing about revolver sights, or this particular revolver sight, is that it's got the integral rear sight with the integrated front blade sight, so they're not going to get knocked out, knocked off when it's jostled around or anything like that. But they're not the easiest to pick up either. So, but it is a revolver, what some people call a gut gun. There's probably few guns that will get someone off of you quite as good as a little snub-nosed revolver, and do it so elegantly. So again, I mentioned the overall length is just a shade over 6 inches, 14.4 ounces. It is a 5-shot. As you know from some of the reviews we've done recently, I personally am a fan of 6-shot, but again, in this case, we're trying to keep down on the weight and the concealability. My wife loves this gun. Again, it's another one of those guns that she says is cute. It does have a steel trigger. Trigger comes in on mine anyway. I know that there's some different ones out there, but when I did the trigger gauge or trigger pull, I consistently was coming in right at 8.5 pounds, which is typical really of a revolver. I mean, I know there are some revolvers with 11, 12 pound triggers on the double action, so 8 pounds is actually kind of light for most double action revolvers. I'm sure that you could change the springs and things like that if you wanted to. Sorry about the dogs yakking over there. But just, you know, again, I've never bought this gun, and it's just because, again, I've never been a huge revolver fan. And you know me, if you've watched the channel, you know I'm an aesthetics kind of guy. I've just never liked a revolver in the way a revolver looks without a hammer. It's not old school, it's not traditional, but I understand that all change is not bad change, and I can see where there would be an allure to this type of revolver. It definitely will fit in my pocket very nicely in, say, cargo shorts and pants, church pants. Fit very nicely into a purse. So I definitely can see value in having this gun. And actually, for someone with short, fat sausage fingers like mine, it really holds quite well in the hand. And you know, I shot fairly well with it. It for a snubby revolver, you know, I was mostly hitting where I was aiming, better than I thought anyway. And I it's kind of growing on me. You know, I started out not really caring much for it, but you know, it's kind of starting to grow on me. It's got a nice checkering here, beveled checkering on the cylinder release here. It did not seem to, I put about 20 rounds through this in fairly rapid succession, and it did not, you know, get tight on me or act like it did not want to release. It's very positive, very easy to manipulate. Again, my wife and both of my daughters really like this gun, and how easy it is to manipulate. So I don't know what much more there is to say about it. We hope to get a range video up on this gun very shortly. Again, when I purchased it, I didn't have camera equipment and things with me. There happens to be a range at the place that I frequent and buy guns, so I walked over, squeezed off about 20 rounds, and can report without video, of course, that it done very well. I was very impressed. Recoil is, well, it's what you would expect out of a very lightweight, small, snubby revolver. It's there, but you know, in a situation where you would have to use it, I don't think it would really matter. I'm pretty impressed with this gun, and it's kind of one of them deals where I'm thinking, you know, why did I not buy it sooner? Why have I always snobbed it and kind of looked away from it? The MSRP on the gun is somewhere slightly over $500. I did not pay that. I think I paid, as a matter of fact, I think the MSRP is around $569. I paid $449, I believe it was. I think maybe $470 or something like that out the door with tax and everything, which is, I guess, probably another reason why I've kind of steered clear from it, because, you know, you can buy other guns, of course, for that price that, you know, has a lot more features and, you know, a lot more rounds, of course, and just more functional, I guess. But yeah, Gunbroker put on their website that it was a #1 seller on their website anyway for 2 straight months. So I figured people liked it, people wanted to see it, people wanted to hear us talk about it, I guess. So we got one, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. I hope you enjoyed the information. I'm sure, very sure, in fact, that there's probably something I did not mention or that I left out. But I have done quite a bit of research. I tried to narrow it down to the most pertinent stuff possible. But if there's something that, you know, I did not, this is a J frame, of course, 38 special plus P, air weight 642. But if there's something that I left out, you know, ask the question. We love to interact with you guys. We answer everyone's question, even if they have negative stuff to say about us, and we really enjoy it. So make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and we really appreciate you guys watching, and God bless.